you want to study in Canada, but you don't have enough funds, make sure to watch the video till the end as I have some exciting news to share with you guys.
But before we start, a quick introduction about myself for my new audience. My name is Sarika and I have been living in the UK for the last 14 years. I work full-time in IT and during my free time, I make YouTube videos. I have two good news to share with you guys as well. First is about study abroad service. You guys already know that I can help you study abroad in any of these listed countries. You simply need to fill the form which is provided in my video description and pinned comment, and my team will reach out to you soon. If you don't hear back from them, you can send me a direct email on yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. Second update from me, I'm launching a job assistance service to help you find a job in the UK. I know many of you are struggling to find jobs and need more help navigating the UK job market. I'll assist you from start till the finish, including job searching, networking, and interview preparation. This is a paid service and I will take only a few students to start with. I offer two packages, one for groups and for one, which is more expensive, one-to-one consultation. If you want more details, you can email me with your CV at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com.
So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video by introducing our guest, Bobby. Hi, Bobby. Welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Hello. Great to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Bobby Green. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at Passage. That means my fun job is to go find incredible students all over the world who want access to better opportunities in life. And that's a pretty cool thing.
Okay, so tell us more about it.
Absolutely. So Passage is a Canadian technology company. We started Passage to unlock the ability for every single deserving student on planet Earth. I don't care who you were born to, what country you were growing up in. I want you to, if you are ambitious and hardworking, be able to pursue your dreams wherever they are. That means if you want to come to Canada to pursue study abroad and immigration, we want to make sure we're there to support the deserving students that match with what Canada needs. So basically, technically, we help students with admission, we finance their tuition and living costs, and then we help them become successful in Canada, meaning we help with get part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and help set them up to be successful here. End-to-end service, you could say.
Are you funded by someone?
Yeah, we were funded by venture capitalists. So basically rich guys in San Francisco. So we're fortunate we've been successful in our careers. We got us to this point where we've been able to raise 40 million to go take a bet on incredible students like all of those listening to this video right now.
So you're starting this with Canada. In the future, I believe you want to expand to other countries as well, because why should only Canada benefit from this?
No, 100%. The goal is that we can fund anyone going anywhere.
Okay.
So 10 years from now, when we're having this conversation, Sarika, I'm excited for us to be talking about how we're sending students to Kenya and Argentina and Germany and China, and who knows, wherever there are better opportunities, we'll go into eventually.
So in a year, do you have like a number of slots for people to apply? Like I imagine you cannot take more than number of people because it's funded by some groups. So what is the maximum capacity you can absorb in a year?
There's actually not a maximum capacity, because if you're doing so well that you run out of money, more people will happily give you money. That's a very good sign. So for us, the limitation is quality students who are genuinely interested in the programs. The more students, the more money we can give. That's not going to be a problem for us ever.
So let's talk about the quality. When you say quality, so say most of the people who watch my videos are, say, in India, some parts of Asia like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and even some people are in Nigeria, some people in Afghanistan as well. So if they are willing to move to Canada to study, most of them cannot finance their fund because it does cost a lot of money for the tuition fee and the living cost. So anyone who's watching the video, what is their first step? What do they have to do?
Yeah, you're going to go to app.passage.com and you'll see the list of schools and programs we support. When you click on the program, you'll see a bunch of details about the course, but you'll also be able to see details about the financing. So for every individual program, we've got a loan structure that works with that program. So typically, like, the easiest summary I can provide is we'll fund students up to about 75,000 Canadian dollars. We'll cover the full tuition and 1 year of living costs.
Can you give an example of some of the industry that you support? I know during our offline conversation, you mentioned about healthcare, you mentioned about STEM. What are the other industry do you have that students can apply?
Yeah, so there's a useful bit of context here for the audience, if you don't mind. So basically, over the last year and a half, we've been basically telling people that the world in Canada was going to change for international students. towards matching newcomers with where there are labor shortages in Canada. Fortunately and unfortunately, we've been vindicated in that these government policies have come to pass. So just a couple Fridays ago, the government announced basically a bunch of types of programs that were very popular, like simple business, one-year college programs, are no longer eligible for the post-grad work permit. What is eligible for PGWP today are basically healthcare, skilled trades, STEM courses with some minor additional programs on the side. So we focus on healthcare, skilled trades, STEM.
Okay.
Healthcare, think of things like practical nursing.
Yeah.
Think of the people who work with children with autism or our elderly parents who are getting in that age and need more care.
Yeah.
Early childhood educators and careers like that. STEM, I think, is the obvious one. People know you want smart people who can work on cutting edge technology and build the future here in Canada. And then the one that maybe we can spend more time on is skilled trades. I think this is the thing most people don't understand. In the world, if you go to India or you go to West Africa or anywhere else, typically those who are working in skilled trades are paid very, very low and the social status is really weak. Whereas in Canada, these are extremely highly paid jobs and they're not thought of as lower rung on the ladder at all. And so they're some of the most, I guess, productive programs in terms of building a good career and successful living in Canada.
Same goes in the UK. So we know the value of people in those skill jobs. You know, we struggle to get them. There are hardly any carpenters when we need them. There's a waiting queue, maybe for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. People in the construction. So I totally understand those comments that you were making, for India. So say if somebody goes to your app, say a student who's interested into STEM, they go and select a course. Maybe there's some courses which are listed there. Do you have like certain qualification or like a prerequisite, which is already mentioned in the app before anybody can apply?
So the way that it works is the schools have the ability to dictate what the admission criteria is on a per program basis. So basically every single program has different admission criteria. The way Passage works is we take what the school tells us is like, hey, this is the minimum admission criteria.
Okay.
And then we add on our own for the loan.
Okay.
So for example, the basic idea of how our loan works is we don't ask for a cosigner.
Okay.
We don't ask for their parents' income. We don't ask for their houses. We are betting directly on the student. And the reason why we do that is because we believe if we can select the right areas, we can go connect PR pathways with jobs, with the right schools and right programs. We can actually bet on a student being successful directly. So once the student is in Canada, the good news is Passage is on the hook to make sure the student is set up and actually successful once here. We're not just getting you to the school and saying you're on your own. We're there every step of the way to make sure that you're successful once here.
So say I applied through the app Passage and I applied for one of the STEM courses. So will you be my point of contact or will it be the university who will be my point of contact, like first point of contact? Who's going to select me? How will I know whether I'm selected or not selected?
Yeah, so you'll do upload the basic documents you're going to need for any school application. So think of passport, proof of English proficiency, proof of whatever education background you need for the particular program. You're going to gather those documents and you're going to upload them on passage.com. And we are going to screen the documents. We're going to make sure all of those things are valid and real. We can't accept fake passports or fake IELTS or some of the bad stuff that's happening today. Once we've verified all the documents are real, you'll do the loan interview and do the preparation for what's required to get approved for the loan. We push all that to the school and then the school makes a yes or no decision and gives the student the letter of admission, typically like what happens today with a direct college application.
Okay. So you are screening them first before you send them to the college, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So when is the best time to apply for those courses? For example, it's already October now, mid of October, right? So if anyone who's interested to study, say in Canada in Jan, should they start applying now or is it targeted only for students who is going in next intake, September?
No, it's a great question. We have 3 intakes per year. So we've got the January intake, the May intake, and the September intake. Different schools will have different programs open each intake. So it's useful to get a sense of what programs will be open or what timing works. I like to tell students to apply a little earlier to give them more buffer time and make sure they're prepared and comfortable when they get to Canada. The worst thing is you don't want to come here last minute and you're rushing to try to get an apartment and all of these kinds of things. So for students in India right now, I would probably recommend looking for the May or the spring intake, or even start thinking about the September intake if you still need to prepare for your IELTS or TOEFL exams.
On an average, do you know what kind of score are you looking for IELTS or for TOEFL?
Yeah, so the school's minimum IELTS for undergrad is typically IELTS 6, minimum 5.5 in all the bands. And then postgrad, it's IELTS 6.5 and likewise minimum 6. So it's a case-by-case basis. We evaluate every student holistically. My preference is I really want to bet and believe in the student and give them the money, right? That's what I'm here to do. So sometimes their grades will be much stronger and their English is a little weaker. Sometimes their English will be really strong and their grades are a little weaker. So every person is a person, right? Everybody is unique. And so we take it on a case by case basis. What we generally say as like a simple way to summarize is we want better than minimum average. So if the school is saying I need a 50% average and an IELTS 6, I expect students to be better. Now they don't need to be straight A students and, you know, they're going to go work at NASA, but they need to be quality students. They need to have an honest and genuine desire in the program and an ambition to do something great with their lives. That's what we're looking for in a student. We work with 12 of the 15 top universities in Canada for master's programs. Think electrical engineering, computer science, applied math. So we offer loans up to 50,000 Canadian for those programs. And then for college programs, we fund both undergrad and postgraduate. And we fund a little bit larger, up to 75K for those programs.
Are you allowed to disclose the name of those colleges or universities that you have partnered with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can go on app.passage.com and see the full list whenever you want. But the top universities like the University of Waterloo, University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, Queen's, McMaster, Carleton, Dalhousie, University of Calgary, University of Alberta. I'm probably missing some, but there's a good chunk there on the master's side. Colleges right now, we've been focused on George Brown College in Toronto, and we're going to be opening it up to more schools soon. But we just really wanted to get the processes and the product as perfect as possible because this are our kids' lives, and we really care to do the best possible job we can for them. Just to be clear, it's not a scholarship, it is a loan. So students will have to repay the loan over time. The idea is when you give us the money back, I go and give it to the next deserving student. Ultimately, we can help many more students through this than giving it as philanthropy. We've helped few hundred students, so low hundreds, since we started in fall 2024 intake. We've helped students from over 26 countries. I think the number is actually closer to 30 now. So we've helped students from every major continent and South America, Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia. So that's really exciting that we're getting a really broad coverage of great students all over the world.
You support the students till the time they don't land a job. Say after their master's, they happen to get into full-time job, and that is when they start paying you back this amount, which you have loaned them.
I view it as Passage as an end-to-end success company. So we are not going to be here to get you admission and then leave you on to your own devices. We're here to help you set up for when you get admitted and get to Canada. If you need help, we'll help you find accommodation. If you need help getting a part-time job, we'll help you get a part-time job. After, if you need help getting a full-time job, we're there to support you to become successful. And if you think about it, I don't have their houses, I don't have their parents' money to come after. So even selfishly, my financial interests are that I need to make my students really successful so that they're able and willing to pay me back so I can then give it to the next deserving kid.
Is there any kind of interest they have to pay on the amount they take a loan on?
Absolutely. We have 11.95% flat fixed interest rate.
I don't know the current rate when students take a loan from their own bank in their own country. So I don't know, do you have any idea? Is your rate higher as compared to the banks in their country?
Yeah, I mean, most countries have no access to financing whatsoever. India is an outlier where there are large banks like SBI and ICICI and HDFC Credila, which do provide financing. What you'll typically find is that I call their marketing matador marketing. I'm not sure if you know those guys with the bulls with the carpets, and they get the bulls to come in and then they lift it up at the last minute. So most of the banks, their style is to advertise that they can fund any program up to, $100,000 and it's a low interest rate. Then when you go through the process, you actually find out it's not what you thought it was. So let's break up the loans into two types, secured and unsecured. So a secured loan is when you put up your house as collateral. That means if you don't pay, the government can come to your mom and dad's house and take their house. There are a lot of banks who are offering secured loans. Okay, so those interest rates are lower because, again, they're not as risky because they can come and take your house at any moment. When you go to the unsecured loans, these are for the people who aren't from wealthy families, and so they don't have a business or a large house to put up as collateral. The interest rates are typically much higher. You're looking at, on average, 13.5%, 14.5%, whereas we're at about 11.9%. The other big difference is I don't even consider us just about funding. What these banks are definitely not doing, they're not in Canada helping you get set up, get a job, ultimately becoming successful, which is, let's be honest, why people are pursuing study abroad in the first place on average, right? So we say the financing is required because a lot of deserving students don't have the financial access, but I don't consider myself just a money provider. We're here to provide access to better opportunities, and that means the whole spectrum of everything from understanding how Canada works to how do you get jobs and how do you get prepared to be a successful citizen in Canada.
Okay, good. I think I do understand this very well now, and I hope my audience does as well. Any closing statement for my audience? Of course, I'm going to encourage them to start and applying and take advantage of it. Anything else you want to add before we wrap today's video?
No, I just think people will have encountered all of the noise in the industry. There's social media influencers saying one thing, students from Canada saying another, maybe even schools and governments saying another. I think that the thing I would say to students is that Canada is a country like any other country. There are paths that lead to success here, and there are paths that do not lead to success. That seems obvious, but I think for a long time, people have been sold that if you just come to a place like Canada, everything will be handed to you and you'll be in heaven. What I'm here to say is the kind of sober truth. What Passage does is we select the pathways that are actually needed by Canadians that are actually going to help you lead to success. But there are a ton of pathways that you're now seeing on social media that haven't been successful. So the low quality private colleges offering a 1-year business program. These are not pathways that lead to success, but Passage's job is to make sure that we're putting you on the path to success and we make sure that we're taking the risk. So if I'm ever wrong, I'm going to lose all my money. That's why people should be confident in us, is because we are fully aligned with their interests. The only way I do well as a business is if I'm really good at connecting them to great opportunities so that they're happy to repay me. If ever the student doesn't do well, Passage won't do well either.
Cool. Thank you very much, Bobby. I believe I'm expecting more and more students to go and enroll to your Passage app today. So you have both the apps and the website, right? Students can use anything to go and register yourself with the website or the app, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to passage.com and see what we're about. You can link to the app from there, or you can go directly to app.passage.com in any web browser.
And for all my audience, I'll be providing the link in my video description and also in my pinned comment. So make sure you just click the link, fill your details. And if you think any of the courses which are listed there is of your criteria, definitely go and fill the form and speak to Bobby and his team to see if you qualify. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you very much for coming and sharing your knowledge and such a great opportunity for students who cannot fund their studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. And yeah, I'm open to any questions, comments that your audience has.
Sure. Thank you.